we are going to be talking about why we're going to the DR. And before we explain about the DR and why we're going and what we even might be doing next, we wanted to share why we even have a heart for missions. Both of us, when we were single, we both did missions trips through the same organization, Adventures in Missions, and also through our local church and other things like that. And that's primarily because we have a heart for unreached people groups and sharing the gospel to people that haven't heard about Jesus before. That's something that's huge on our hearts, and it's something we want to take into our future ministry as well.
Yeah, so why the DR specifically? Basically, there's a couple that we were able to meet, Miguel and Kristen, and they have been in the DR for, I think, about 20 years. They started this ministry called Tierra Prometida from scratch. They go out to villages in the province of San Juan de la Maguana in the Dominican Republic. And so these villages are basically like unreached/unchurched. So they've either heard about Jesus slightly, or like they never have heard about him. And so we really want to work underneath them, just because they are a couple in missions who have been there for 20 years. They also have a family, so just learning how do you run a ministry at the same time as having a family, and just really looking to seek wisdom and just understand how to do it from somebody who is doing it. Certainly we could go and just jump into it, and I know people who that has worked for, and God blesses it, but we just really think it's wise to just seek counsel and wisdom and advice, and just see their entire church planning movement, and just how you even start, how do you know when you're done, and just everything in between. And also, as I briefly mentioned, just learning to have a family overseas. They have 5 kids, and so we would love to have a large family if possible, and just figuring out what that looks like overseas. How do you make that work while also running a ministry and doing what God has you there for? So in terms of after the Dominican, so as I'm sure most of you know, when you are following God, at least for us, it seems that you just kind of take that next step, and then after you take that next step, the Lord reveals what's after that. We do, of course, have some ideas, but just trying to be obedient in this next step of going to the Dominican. After that, we've talked about potentially going to Colombia, South America. God has just allowed me to maintain a lot of connections from when I've been there in the past. So I went there for 1 month on my original trip, and then moved back by myself for 3 months. And so just a lot of different connections, and for whatever reason, I just feel like God's placed a passion in my heart for Colombia. I know God has placed a passion in Courtney's heart just for Spanish-speaking cultures, and I just really think there could be something there. We also have been networking with different organizations, and just trying to find that best fit, and make sure we're just getting our foot in as many doors as possible, so that whenever God tells us what's next, we can just move forward with that in faith and in boldness.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk a little bit about why we're going, some opportunities that we're going to have while we're there, and then what God might be calling us into afterwards, and what's on our hearts for afterwards as well. And so thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you for being a part of our journey.